Zenless Zone Zero has a very cool world-building technique that I've never seen it done well in the opening chapter of any gacha games. And that is horror. Now, obviously, Zenless Zone Zero is not a horror game, but horror scenes can still be a powerful tool in non-horror media to show just how screwed up their world has become. And I think this needs to be added in a lot of gacha game stories. These days, modern gacha games are made from high-concept world building, usually about how their world is in danger and how the player must lead everyone to save their world from a threat. It could be monsters, it could be virus, it could be eldritch horrors. But I've never seen any of them show us that horrors directly in the story. It's almost always being told, but not shown. And this is such a missed opportunity, especially in the opening scenes of the game. We are told that this disease is horrifying through dialogues. We are told that the monsters are terrifying through combat where we beat them without a sweat. We are playing a video game, not a novel. Show us why this threat is terrifying. Show us what is at stake if we fail. Show, don't tell. And not just that, a lot of these games just fail to show the dangers of living in their world as a regular person. But not Zenless Zone Zero. The writers in this game know how to write horror scenes in world building. I counted 3 scenes in the opening chapters of this game. The first one is this scene, minutes after you log in for the first time.
I never destroy it!
Yep, looks like ether corruption. This mutation is so intense. I don't think this guy has any ether aptitude at all.
Destroy! Get! Take!
His consciousness is still holding on.
It's too late. Ether crystals are forming all over his body. He's already...
Help! Destroy!
It's the core! Damn it! He's almost completely mutated!
This is by far the best way to tell the players that the hollows are terrifying. You don't need to explain it. We've just seen it happen. People who stay too long inside the hollows will turn into monsters. I'm sorry to compare games here, but this is all I ever wanted from Genshin Impact years ago. Because you know, if this is a scene in that game, they will instead give us 5 minutes exposition about this. Horror scenes like this work because this scene is now burned inside our minds. This scene sets up a stake if we ever get a scene later where we are trapped in a hollow anywhere in the story. And guess what? They immediately used that in the hacking scene. The Cunning Hares were trapped in a hollow without a way out. This hacking scene would be boring as heck without the horror scene from earlier. Now that we know that the Cunning Hares are at risk of turning into monsters, there is a tension in the air, a ticking time bomb. Without that scene, you wouldn't understand what is in FeyHunt's head at this moment. They have to save them right now, even if they have to lose all of their build-up reputation. You know exactly what they're thinking and what they feel. In other words, that horror scene creates a connection between you as the player with FeyHunt. This connection is sometimes missing in a lot of gacha game stories. You just don't understand what is the danger the characters are talking about. And that's not even mentioning that this hacking scene is already a horror on its own. The idea of getting lost and running in circles with no way out is just disturbing. But now you also have invisible portals that you can fall in at any time, monsters swarming around, and a ticking timer before you become those monsters. That risk of being lost in the hollow then naturally creates a world-building solution in the form of the proxies. This is why hollow raiders need proxies who can map out the layouts of the hollow. This is a show and tell us later approach, which is still better than 5 minutes exposition with random world-building jargons. Another disturbing scene happened in the interlude chapter where the main character suddenly get trapped in an unexpected hollow. I love how they keep stretching out the tension in this scene. The other sibling was silently panicking as they kept looking everywhere for their sibling. Their fear is set up properly from the fact that FeyHunt is pretty much defenseless against the monsters, and there is always that ticking clock before the sibling turns into a monster. Again, if this is any other game, they would create a 5-minute exposition about how the hollows can appear at any moment, and then they follow it up with more expositions every step of the search. But not in this game. Show, don't tell. This chapter perfectly captures the horrifying reality of living in New Eridu. You can send your sister off to school in the morning and she may never return because a random hollow just appeared out of nowhere and she went missing forever. And the more disturbing thing is the fact that the people just move on with their lives as if that's normal. Sure, some of them are shaken, but nobody is freaking out. They have already accepted that this is something that could happen to them at any day. They are just glad that they could live for another day. And that is such an excellent way to make the world feel realistic. And that's why Zenless Zone Zero is an excellent example of using horror scenes in world building. Now, before I end this video, I don't want anyone to see my comparison to other games in this video as an attack. Instead, my comparison is meant as a feedback. I want all gacha games to have stellar writing. And if you want to help your favorite game to improve in quality, you can start a discussion in the player base to push for better writing. Or leave your feedback when they ask for it to point out their writing mistakes. But what do you think? Do you think Zenless Zone Zero's writing is great? Do you have any other gacha games that use horror well? Please do share them in the comment section below. I always reply to my comment section, and I would like to know what other gacha games I should play next. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more analysis videos like this. And with that, I think I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.